Yes, you are. Dictatorship.
I'll speak on the behalf of democracy.
Well, if you juxtapose both democracy and dictatorship, in my opinion, well, dictatorship is an absolute authority in any sphere. It often refers to a form of government that has the authority of absolute rule within one person or a structured polity. In some instances, a group of nations or communities could be governed under a dictatorship instead of a single nation. Well, there are lots of demerits of democracy which I would like to point out faithfully. First, being leaders keep changing in a democracy, leading to instability. Then, democracy is all about political competition and the power play, leaving no scope for morality. Many people have to be consulted in democracy that leads to delays. And then elected leaders do not know the best interest of the people, resulting in bad decisions. Democracy leads to corruption since it is based on electoral competition, and ordinary people don't know what is good for them. They should not decide anything. So those reasons are plenty are the ones which I think that democracy doesn't work in today's modern times. Milka.
Okay, Prashant was talking about the demerits of democracy.
Pardon me, but there's some
What's
echo.
the demerit of democracy?
The reverb is too high.
Okay, am I audible now?
I can hear you, but in bits and pieces.
Okay, actually, maybe there is some network problem from my side. Am I audible now?
Yeah,
Okay, it means that I am perfectly now. Okay, so as Prashant was talking about the demerits of democracy, yeah, there are some demerits of democracy, but at the same time, as he was saying that in dictatorship, in democracy, there is no stability because the parties keeps on changing every after 5 years. But according to me, it's a good thing. Uh, if there will be one party leadership, then he will rule, aspect of your life. So there this thing the party will be that party will work in interest of people. So if there will be democracy, so party will be changed. So no part or no leader will become an absolute leader. He or she they will have this fear in their mind that if they will not work for welfare of the people, so the people won't vote for them in the next election. So they have this fear. They have this kind of fear in their mind.
well, see, the thing is like even in the democracy, as the definition goes, rule of the people, rule by the people, and rule for the people. But do we really think that democracy in today's modern time works? Because there is electoral malpractice. Even though after 5 years they think that they won't be elected, and they have this morbid fear. So they can see because of this oligarchy, this excessive cronyism, and the nepotism, and so on, and politics. They can actually elect themselves using the electoral malpractice, whether or not people what to think about.
Look, one thing is this. There, like you're saying, the democracy is the government of the people, for the people, and by the people. But it's not like that only democracy is the government of the people, for the people, and by the people. If you talk about dictatorship, then dictatorship also a government of the people, for the people, and by the people. Every
No,
form
no,
of
that's not
government,
true.
it's
I'm so
it's
sorry, but
true.
that is not
Every
true.
form of Look, every form of government, whether it is totalitarian, whether it is democratic, whether it is dictatorship, every form of government is a form of, government of the people, for the people, by the people. The only difference is this: if you talk about democracy, so democracy is a government of the people, for the people, by the people, by their elected representatives. This thing is there, which makes democracy different from other things, that your selected representative is there. Otherwise, all kind of government is a form of, like all kind of crazy, whether it is democracy, dictatorship, whatever it is. It's a form government of the people, and for the people, by the people. In dictatorship, the dictators, those who are dictators, they are working for whom? They are working for people. Dictator themselves are, of the people. The definition is same, na? Like, you can apply in other spheres also.
Respectfully speaking, I think you're slightly misinformed because if you take an example of North Korea, do you think that whatever people, if you say on the same lines, rule by the people, do people make rules? And if is Kim Jong Un, who is the incumbent dictator of North Korea, Does he listens to the people over there? What about Russia, which has high rate of this people? Since there's a despotic leader and this draconian rule, is Putin listening to what people are saying in Russia? No, right?
Look at No, look, that is so this is the definition. Like, every form of, there is difference. Like, there are few peoples are there, in dictatorship. You are saying, you are giving example of Putin and all. So at least in somehow that is also working for people, lah. There are their selfish interest, but when they say, so they claim that they are working for the welfare of people.
But on the contrary, they are not, right? And if it was
Yeah, on the
democracy,
contrary.
if
So
it
in
was
Okay.
yeah, if it was democracy, you see in India, like even their most prominent leaders were arrested in India. The one who declared emergency, she was arrested, right?
But
Do you think the same?
how will you look? How will you justify, dictatorship? How will you justify that dictatorship will be good?
There are a number of reasons why this will be good, because it's not that I'm saying that dictatorship is somewhat superlative, but looking at the demerits and drawbacks of democracy, I think in today's era, dictatorship. Now, see, like most of the countries are being affected by globalization. There has been war ensued between Russia and Ukraine. Western European countries have put an embargo, put sanctions on the Russia, and which is why the Western European countries are affected with not only UK but also more than 15 countries are affected with global recession. There's a mass exodus. People are not getting jobs. There's inflation. There's poverty. Now there's few. Now, do you think that North Korea has been affected by this global recession? Now they have their own regime, right? And they people there are not affected by any of such things which I mentioned earlier,
But
and it
but the
allows you.
thing is that, yeah,
Yeah, so see, there are list of
Prashant.
pros of a dictatorship. First thing, it can have a deterrent effect on crime. Second is it can have political corruption, which is taken away out of the shadows. It can provide effective responses during emergency situations. Dictatorships can take the lead on innovation, and it can provide ruling stability. Not only that, but international diplomacy can flourish. Many dictators come to power through experience only, right?
And one thing is there, like in dictatorship, like you're giving example of Korea, that they haven't faced, this global recession. But at the same time, in North Korea, people don't have fundamental rights. They can't express their, they don't have freedom to express their views. They, like if I talk about in India, we are the democratic, we are here, the democracy is there, so we have our fundamental right. We have right to express our views. So in case our fundamental rights are breached, we can go to the Supreme Court, we can go to the higher authority. They can, they can implement, and they are the judiciary is the protector of our rights. But in dictatorship, if your rights are hampered, you can't go to anywhere, because you don't have that legitimacy. Legal legitimacy is not there. You can't claim for your rights in under dictatorship. If the dictator is not working in favor of your interest, then what will you do? Who's going to
I,
save your interest? Who's going to fight for your rights?
under present circumstances, it is hardly veridical in the site that it generates. Now, which is that even democracy in India, do you think that people are still getting whatever they deserve? I mean, the rights. Are they really getting justice? In some cases, policies and even Supreme Courts are involved in those nefarious actions. People don't get justice. The justice delayed is justice denied. There are like a number of people who haven't got justice yet. The number of rape cases, the acid attacks victims,
Actually,
domestic violence, and they haven't received the matter. The court cases become sub judice, and then the case goes on, and then everyone like has to wait until the turn comes. They die of the natural death. Do you think the court
but
cases?
at least, there is this thing I'm accepting, but at least there is some kind of decorum, some kind of rules and regulation. But in dictatorship, there is no such decorum and no such these kind of things. The media is there, media is working, media is mouthpiece of the dictator. The real news is not coming out. In democracy, you are getting these things like, okay, you have this kind of knowledge that people are not getting justice and all. This is because the media is, this is because all these information are available to you. But in dictatorship, there are, in dictatorship there is also, such things are also going on there. But the thing is, they are not allowing these things to come outside.
On the
We don't
contrary, yeah, please go ahead. Yeah.
you were saying something.
Yeah, on the contrary, media, even being a fourth pillar of democracy, even the same thing is happening in India. Like media is being bought by some of the ruling parties, and then media only shows what they want to show or what their political views are of some adherent party, right? Now, compare the number of rape cases of India and number of rape cases of North Korea. Delhi is still called as a rape capital of India. The number of rape cases which is not getting reduced. There are still a number of cases which we look at the news and they still come up, and then these crimes keep on increasing. What is government helping to do that? How is government helping
Yeah,
to do
this
that?
is this thing. Yeah, this thing is all. This thing is something which I also accept, that media, the role media play in democracy is very crucial. But right now, if we see in India, the position of our media is very low. They are not working, according to their. They are just working for few political parties, few political leaders. Yeah, you can say the media is not that much partial these days in India also. But I think that a dictatorship still, for me, the democracy is a better form of government. There are some negative things also there in democracy, but we can't justify dictatorship, because the dictatorship, see the name itself is a negative dictatorship.
Somewhat naive on this. Mhm. Certainly not. Now imagine in a country like US, even here. people can talk in terms of there's like a they can launch a specific diatribes. In the furious tired of abuse, they can there will be like stream of invective comments against the world leader, the country leaders, and this is why freedom of speech is somewhere actively undermined, because people can talk nonsense, right? Because if you give all the control to the people, then they can stage a massive protest, you know, and then there will be like a chaos everywhere. People will talk rubbish against anyone, everywhere, anytime. In US, there is a freedom of speech.
Sorry, I didn't get your question. Like, you are saying that in during election time. Mm, yeah, like, yeah. I'm getting. You're saying that during election, a lot of money is wasted on elections, and these money is, taken out from your public fund. Yeah. So yeah, this is there. Yeah, actually, it's something. It's something which is we can say the negative thing is there. Like, yeah, a lot of money has been spent on promotions. Um, Actually, I don't have anything to say on this thing. But yeah, it's a something which is negative. Muscle power is there, during elections. Money, yeah, yeah.
But like this is one aspect of democracy. You can say, okay, this is negative use of money is there, but there are also other positive side which you can't ignore. Like, okay, the money is used during election. This I accept that the negative use of money is there, but at the same time, if we talk about democracy, in democracy you have your fundamental rights, you have freedom of speech, you can criticize government. If you are not happy with your government, then you can recall the other government. You can like, if the government will lose the vote of confidence, okay, so then the government is dismissed. Then there is the option of you can form other government also.
Well, the only reason being that I'm supporting dictatorship is, in some cases democracies doesn't work, and I've seen it. Even that you can collaborate with other people. Like, those rates of crimes will be reduced. People will have fear mongering around them, that whatever they do, whatever they think, they will act twice. They'll think twice before making some gruesome acts. In democracy, people will think. Now, even there are some people who even go against police in democracy. because they think that we have the absolute control, we have the rights, human rights. Now there are some fake cases also which have been launched. So to say the number of there are several reasons, like democracy is not working even in today's times, and which is why dictatorship could be a best.
What I think that, yeah, the we can say the character of democracy is declining. The democracy, the ideal form of democracy, okay, that is not there. This thing I accept. But if we talk about dictatorship, now in dictatorship, real news होती वो बाहर आ ही नहीं पाती है. As you are saying that the lots of rapes are happening, nobody is going to take care about these issues. But in dictatorship also, you will find such kind of problems are also there. But the problem is that is banned. The only the dictator will decide कि कौन सी न्यूज बाहर आनी चाहिए कौन सी नहीं. और जब वो न्यूज बाहर नहीं आ रही है ना, तो उसके बेसिस पे यू आर सेइंग दैट द डिक्टेटरशिप इज गुड. But the internal thing which the problem are facing, that is something which we don't know because that is not coming out. You see, if we compare between democracy and dictatorship, so you will find the you can say development level of those countries are greater which have democracy. As like if you talk about the dictatorship, in dictatorship, can you say the Hitler or the Stalin? They are the dictator. Can you the people of their state were happy with their leadership, or at that time they have freedom and all?
Yeah, I think that is true. Somewhat naive on this point. I still believe that the philosophical heart of your argument is correct in some manner or form. You gave example of Hitler as a dictator, and his regime was, absolutely draconian rule which he actually implemented among people. But my point is democracy really helping? If not democracy, then why not dictatorship? Democracy, even if it says that it is for the people, but in today's modern time, I reiterate that people really getting justice? Are really people getting benefited from democracy?
But I think na, rather than switching from democracy to dictatorship, we need to strengthen our democracy. We need to, we need to try to eliminate the negative sides of the democracy, negative, the negative thing which is there in democracy. I think we need to correct the that which is happening there, the negative things which are going on. We need to correct that rather than switching entirely to dictatorship, because it won't be working, I think. If there will be, very, yeah,
I think
not
rather than the
alternative
alternative
like
option. Yeah, please. Yeah, yeah. Rather than providing some alternative option, I think what Swara is saying, like, it should be democracy, but there should be some reforms. There should be some rules and
yeah,
regulations which needs to be implemented to actually strengthen democracy even more better, so that people
yeah,
voices can
participatory
be heard.
democracy should be. Yeah, participatory democracy should be there, and those people who are from low strata, backward classes, they should have say in democracy. Their interests are not take the democratic political parties, elite section of the political parties don't talk about, don't take their interest into consideration. So their interest should be taken into consideration. And at the same time, the political leaders which are there should be some criteria for them. Some educational criteria should be there, because if we see in our democracy, we have the minister, education minister will be such who don't have education background. There is no educational qualification for ministers, for political party leaders. So there should be such kind of things.
Yeah, I totally agree. One of the reason being that if there's some chaos between people, there's always we see like on social media, on medias, like there's a fight between two ruling parties. They keep on fighting, and the issue or like the current issues which people face that is not solved at all. That is being ignored. And on the other side of the river, this political ruling party they just keep fighting with one another. Exchanging some verbal spats.
Yeah, now you will see like the main aim of the political parties or the main aim of political party is not to to bring socio-economic changes or to work for welfare of the people. They are just fighting for votes. They want to create their vote bank. They just want to come in power and they want to use their power, want to get more and more money. That's it. Like now the real meaning or the real purpose of democracy, they are ignoring this thing.
I agree. Well, I think in a nutshell, the genuine conclusion would be, thus both democracy and dictatorship are political philosophies with their own merits and demerits. However, democracy is considered better as it is the government of the people. I rest my case here. No, no, like from what the worldly point of views, which are actually just under fresh scrutiny and crude generalities. I think now, yes, and more countries in comparison to dictatorship, they support democracy, democratic form of government.
Yeah, same is with me. Like all the democracy, all the government, whether it democracy, whether it totalitarianism, dictatorship, every form of government has its own merits and demerits. So if we specifically talk about democracy, so there is need to work for strengthening of democracy. Positive things should be there in democracy. Yeah, that's it. That's it from my side. Yeah, but
Yes.
majority is talking about democracy, but that democracy should be actually that democracy should be government of the people, for the people, and by the people. That definition, famous definition, which was given by Abraham Lincoln, that shouldn't be only on the piece of paper. Like, okay, this is the form of government, whatever. That should be something which should be seen in society. That this is actually a democracy.
Thank you. Thank you all.